Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm Pradeep Subedi. I'm a senior nanomaterials engineer at Irisi Light Technologies. We at Iris are simply putting state-of-the-art semiconductor ink on silicon chips, or chips made of silicon. So our ink, as you can see here on the right, it doesn't work on the display, I think. So you can see our ink are capable of coupling with light carefully guided through the waveguide, and that interaction results in devices with unique properties. And it can be used in healthcare, telecommunications, and also on national securities. So let me give you a brief introduction of who we are. So we are a Chicago-based startup company. We are a spin-out of Argonauts Lab and Northwestern University. Currently, we are 5 full-time team members working at the company, and we also have many advisors at our company. 2 of them are pictured in here. On the left here, those are our list of investors, sponsors, and R&D partners. So we have a broad base of support for what we are doing at Irisi Light Tech. So you can see it takes a lot of effort and a lot of partnership to build what we're building at Irisi Light Technologies. So on the right here, that's some of the images from our trip at Kohler, Wisconsin. We did a team retreat and sailing on Lake Michigan. I just wanted to say, like, Chicago is not always cold. We get a really good summer. On the next slide, I'm going to give you a brief overview of areas where our technology lives on. So we live in the nexus between these 3 topics. So 2D materials, printed electronics, and silicon photonics. So a lot of the work has been done in the past with 2D materials and printed electronics, but adding these together to make silicon photonics has been unexplored. So we are working on with 2D materials and printed electronics and making devices with silicon photonics. So since this is unique, I'm going to give you a brief overview of our point of view on how these areas intersect. So let's talk about printed electronics. So component electronics have been a key interest of like advanced packaging as well as like all the additive manufacturing. So it is the materials can go on any surface and they are very good for size, weight, and power. So one thing that is missing from printed electronics as of now is semiconductor ink. So a lot of the work have been done with metal inks. Semiconductor inks are in relative development. So we at Irisi Light are also working on developing semiconductor ink for different for making actives that can be printed as like emitters and detectors. So now let's talk about silicon photonics. So silicon photonics today is $5 billion in revenue. So that all that revenue comes from mostly from data centers, powering data centers, and telecommunication. But with that proof point and the maturity of the fabs that are coming online, a lot of other areas are being explored from different companies and startups. So that means the silicon photonic market is growing rapidly at a 40% rate per year. And it is expected to grow 100 billion by 2035. So let me give you an example of where we think our technology will, or our work, but we'll have doing it as like will have an impact. So for making a light chip today, you need 2 different supply chains, one for chips and one for lasers. So let's take a closer look of how these light chips are made today. So the gold standard for making electronics is you make these tiny, sophisticated, state-of-the-art devices on a silicon wafer. To make the light chips, what they do today is they glue a bulky laser on top of these sophisticated components, and the laser itself, as you see here, costs about 20% of the total cost of the device. And also, they also sometimes glue photodetectors at certain wavelengths, and that what you've seen here on the right is actually inside of a real product. So let's talk about what we are doing about it, how we are different. So we at Irisi Light are working on embedding the actives on the chip. So we are working on printing red detectors, LEDs, and lasers on chip. So that